We flipped a coin, okay? You and me. You and me. Coin flip is sacred.
Y'all ready for a show today, baby? Go time, baby.
We've been waiting all week for this. This is where it happens right here, man. We man up, we stand up. We man up, we stand up. We all we got. We all we got. We all we got. We all we got.
Hit anything that moves. We're playmakers, man. We the best, nothing less.
You don't like this one. Trust me, you don't like it.
We're between the white lines. This is football. Welcome to the big league. I won the toss. I took the football. Drive it down that throat.
Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your skull?
Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest.
Game time! Game time!
Welcome, everybody, to the Coin Flip Week 14 NFL main slate on this beautiful Friday morning. We are once again going to set a record high in Norman, Oklahoma of 80 today. This time last year, I think we had like 8 inches of snow on the ground. So that's Oklahoma weather for you. But hopefully get this knocked out. Got to go do some gathering honeydews to get ready for my 8-year-old's party tomorrow. And then maybe get to sneak out and play a few holes. Going to be a little windy, but when it's 80 in December here, got to take advantage of that if you can. Right now, use the code COIN, C-O-I-N. Get 20% off any package. Includes a 7-day free trial per usual. Big weekend ahead. We got Army-Navy game. Bobby will be putting out his breakdown on that. Huge UFC card. Probably the second biggest pots I've seen for UFC. Going to be a good one. The GC Warrior Room has been hopping all week there. Tommy will have his stuff out, I'm sure, tonight and updated tomorrow as weigh-ins come in. Big NFL slate on Sunday. Go check out the Hot Route with me and Ryan. We broke down every game in detail. Had a lot of great feedback on that pod. We'll be bringing that back next year for sure, but still got plenty to go. Good time to check us out. Come get familiar with the golf tools, ask questions. There's a tutorial video on the Gups Corner Twitter, at Gups Corner, about 18 minutes long or so. Go check that out if you're not familiar with the site. Then come check us out for free for 7 days, and we'll get rolling into PGA, NASCAR, and everything else as the calendar turns to 2022. Listener League is in the link. Let's get that full. Rate and review us on iTunes. I'll be doing some giveaways around Christmas, around NBA. I know that's a big day. Christmas Day, we'll do some giveaways there. And then the big NFL slates coming up at the end of the year. And then always, you're always into the big drawings when we march to the Masters and Daytona 500 next year when you do that. It really goes a long way. I know a lot of people hear that, but if you haven't done it, just do it real quick. Certainly appreciate it. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're an audio only person, hop over real quick, hit like, hit subscribe. In the comment section of this video and every video, if you leave a comment, you get put into I do weekly, semi-weekly drawings, and I look at all the comments. That's simply what I do. This week, tell me your favorite quarterback. I think it's a big, interesting slate for where people want to go with quarterbacks. Big names, but potentially not a lock to go to them. Brady, Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Dax there. Lamar struggling. Burrow coming off the loss. Some cheapies like Cam and Taysom. Who's your favorite one this week? Tell me that. Underdog. Link is in the description. Use the code GUP, G-U-P. Get a free dollar for dollar match up to $100 right now. Playoff best balls are back. $50K in prizes, $10 to enter. They're about 65% full. So if you want to jump in on that, maybe your main best balls are struggling. Maybe you just learned what best balls were. Maybe you still don't know. This is a good time to get in there, get familiar with the app, understand them, build up some bankroll. When the main ones start rolling out in May of 2022, we will have you guys covered there. And the GC Warrior Room is always hopping during the summer, talking best ball strategy. So that'll be good stuff for us next summer. Typical pod today, playbook. I'll give you my plays, fades, and values at each position, my favorite stacks, favorite Super 7 plays over at Carbon Contest, getting down to the wire there. My upset of the week, survivor of the week, and then my monkey knife fight plays of the week, and we give it a wrap. If you want the full game-by-game detail, go check out the Hot Route again with me and Ryan. Always a great show there. All right, quarterbacks. I'm going to go Dak. Looking like potentially lower owned. in general, it's going to be pretty spread out week at quarterback. Most weeks it is. It definitely is this week. I don't have anybody over 12, 13% right now, but I think he'll be lower owned. I think it's going to be the only thing that'll get me off of by Sunday is if the weather just looks worse and worse and worse. But if it looks like I think it could, maybe it keeps people off of it, and I don't mind doing some Cowboy stacks. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to win fairly easy. It is my favorite bet of the week on the Super Contest. I'll get to that in a little bit. But I love Dak. I love the Cowboys. I'm going to be on them this week. I'm going to go back to Burrow. Obviously struggled a little bit last week, the pinky situation. Unless we hear something, egregious about that, I'm going to take advantage of Burrow against those 49ers secondary. Still beat up there. How they're underdogs. I mean, that's the thing that worries me. Now, it is a Friday morning. We'll see by the time we get to Sunday is that does someone know that others don't know that the Burrow either going to be really held back or not play at all? All signs point to him playing, but so as of now, I'm going to take it. I love that situation there. He's going to be super low owned. He's really not that expensive at $6K. My values, Taysom, I figure he's going to be pretty high owned. Not high, but higher owned, but $5,600 is kind of too cheap. We talked about it with Ryan. I think I gave him the stats of like 241 yards and 4 picks. How many points did he get? Over, under. I mean, most people would tell you like 12 or something. And he had 28 points in DK against the Cowboys with that game. And it all comes down to the rushing. Now, Kamara looks to be back. So I think that does hurt a little, but 5,600 is still, relatively cheap. And you could stack those two if you want, but he's a value play. I think I like Jimmy G. See what's going on with Debo. Maybe trending towards playing now. I hope he does. I think that could be a good, just a good sneaky game in general, 49ers and Bengals. And then maybe Lawrence. Ryan kind of mentioned him yesterday. I did a little more research. Like, Titans secondary is not that great. As bad as the Titans are running right now without Henry, maybe I don't think it'd be a shootout by any means, but 5,100, you go Lawrence, you got a couple cheap pieces. I could see that for some MMEs and stuff. One of those guys, if Debo's playing, I definitely like Jimmy G. My fade this week, I'm going to go back to Josh Allen just because I have him as the highest priced, highest owned right now. If I was going to go up there, I'd pay $200 less for Brady all day, every day, and twice on Sunday. And I may pay $200 more for Mahomes. I'm not big on Mahomes this week, but I would definitely take Brady at half or a third of the ownership and $200 cheaper this week in that same matchup. Running backs, talk about this a lot. You guys know how big I am on Javonte. He's normally a gut feel play. Now we get to lock and load him. I don't know if Gordon's coming back. I think it's going to be a game time decision. But even if he does, I think Javonte gets a good run at it here. And against that Detroit run defense, I just absolutely love this play. He's going to be chalky. I'll be overweight by far, just like I was on Showdown. And I told everybody, lock and load that dude. He's going to be a stud in this league. Love him. $5,900 is too cheap against the Lions. I don't care if Gordon's there or not. And then Patterson. I kind of like Patterson this week. There's a lot of them that are iffy because I want to see what's going on with Pollard as it relates to Zeke. Looks like he's a game time decision. What's going on in the 49ers backfield. We'll get to that in a second. Things like that are kind of iffy. CEH isn't a bad play. Jacobs isn't a bad play. They're playing against each other. But I think I still like Patterson against the Panthers. I think this Panthers team's on the verge of just checking out. You boot your offensive coordinator mid-bye week instead of, you would think if you're going to make the change, you do it early. Just seems weird over there. And Patterson, they get Patterson involved. That's not a high-scoring game or anything, but I think he'll get involved a little bit up there, so he may be ownership down up there in price, $6,900. Value plays for me, it'll be hasty if it looks like he's going to be the guy. And right now it does. It looks like Mitchell does not have a good chance to play. We can see about Jeff Wilson. So that's really going to be a Sunday decision. But outside of Mitchell, whoever the starting running back is going to be a value play because they're all cheap. Right now, I got Hasty penciled in at 4K. And then I like Ty Johnson, $4,400. Not something I'm running to get to, but if you really need to pay down, they're at home against the Saints. Saints are struggling in general. They're without a lot of some pretty key defensive players. It could be a sneaky kind of mid-higher game score. They got it at 43, but I could see 48, 49 points here. So I like him at that price. That's a pretty good price for him. Fade right now would be Kamara. I guess I need to see how it's going to look with, Kamara, Taysom, backfield. They don't really have any wide receivers. Dante Harris gets a DUI. He's out for 3 games. There's going to be a lot of running. I just want to see how they mix and match it. Now, the one thing that what Boost says is that I got to do the research. I know that Ingram potentially might miss with, I think, the COVID stuff. I don't know if he can test back in, kind of like Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, but still $7,900 for Kamara, and it's so scary with Taysom to be able to steal away from him. It's just a high price. I don't mind the situation for Kamara. I just wonder, is it worth paying up this week? So the others around him, Eckler, I don't really care for, but he should have a great game against the Giants. Should be a great spot for him. Mixon, I think that game could be more of a passing game, but and I'm just talking about the guys right around him. Chubb, how much does Hunt come back and factor in there? Don't know, but right now it would be Kamara, and I'll update that as we get closer to Wednesday. Wide receivers for me, I actually like Diggs, even though I'm not as big on Allen. I think Diggs will get his. That Tampa defense secondary does struggle some. He's $8,100, and I think with Tyreek up there, pending what goes on with Mike Williams / Keenan Allen, you're going to see a lot of ownership float those ways, and Diggs may be a little less owned than what we would normally see. And you still got Godwin and Evans, which people will go to. And so we haven't had a big Diggs game in a while, and I feel like this could be it. I love Jamar Chase. Talked about that earlier with the Bengals. Bounce back game for him. Really kind of in a lull right now, right? He spiked, and then I think everybody's hammered on him. He really hadn't done much. I think this could be another boom game for him against the 49ers. $6,900 and 6% right now is great. CeeDee Lamb, the boys are back in Dallas. We get Cooper back, Lamb. Everybody's going to be healthy. Dak's got all his tools. I still like Lamb the most in that situation because it spreads out the defense more. You can't leave Cooper off. He is much cheaper, so I don't mind. I'm going to be stacking some Cowboys, but my favorite up there is Lamb. And then Ayuk or Debo. If Debo's out, I like Ayuk this week. He kind of had a dull week last week. It was a Kettle show. And Ryan mentioned this, he could be kind of under the radar. I like that game atmosphere in general. If Debo's back, I like Debo. I've been playing him a lot, but if he's out, I do like Ayuk this week. Values, the easy ones is Palmer or Guyton, pending, does Williams and or Keenan Allen get to play with the COVID stuff. I think we'll know on Williams today. His 5-day mandatory. He has to test negative. So far, he hadn't tested positive because we hadn't heard. If he keeps testing negative, he gets to play Sunday. Keenan Allen had to have 2 negative tests before Sunday to be able to play. We hadn't heard any updates negative, so if they're both in, then these guys aren't really much value. But if one's out, then you get value there. I lean Palmer over Guyton, but we'll see how that shakes out. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think with the bye week and the way the Browns have been playing, he's kind of going under the radar. But this Ravens secondary is beat up, and this guy I think can break loose. Get a couple, deeper balls if Baker can get him the ball. Hopefully Baker's a little bit healthy. $3,900. He's not going to be on any radar at all. But I do believe this secondary is hurting right now, especially with Humphrey out. So I'll go Donovan Peoples-Jones there for $3,900. And then Treadwell. Ryan was on him last week, got me on him. He only gets a $200 bump. A Titans secondary is not great. I know the Jaguars aren't great, but Ryan mentioned yesterday that one of the 2 times Lawrence has gotten over 20 points in DK was against the Titans earlier in the year. So, $3,400, that's not a bad little price as a one-off piece. Fade. I said Tyreek because I do like Diggs, and I think Tyreek will be much higher owned. The caveat to that is if Williams or Allen is out, only one of them, the other one I think is going to be massively high owned, and we may have to get off that. So we'll keep that in mind as we get closer to Sunday. The one buck I do like, or one of them, is Gronk. I still think he's too cheap. I don't think he'll get too much ownership. This is a heavy tight end slate. You get Kelsey, Kettle, Gronk, Pitts, Andrews, even Schultz and Knox who are getting some steam. Waller potentially back. Lots of tight ends this week that you can go to. So I like Gronk. I think he's getting back into his rhythm. It's getting towards the end of the year. Brady's going to trust him. AB's still out, which I think boosts Gronk some. So I like him. I like Kittle if Debo is out. If Debo is in, I think I'd rather go Debo, maybe not go as high on Kittle. I think Kittle will be a darling this week after the big week last week. And then the other two are kind of a 3A, 3B. I like Schultz and Andrews. My only deal with Schultz, I do like him a lot. We've talked about him a ton, but I want to see how much Dak would go to him with everybody healthy now in the wide receiver core. But he's $500 cheaper than Andrews, and he's going to be much less owned. Could be worth it in a stack for sure. But Andrews is turning into Lamar's favorite target, so I don't mind him either. My favorite value is Uzomah for the Bengals, especially in a stack. He's $3K flat. He's not going to do too much, but if you're punting or you're making some stacks there, I like him. Fade would be Waller if he's back right now. $6,400. First game back. They're on the road at Arrowhead. Tough place to play. The Chiefs defense has been doing really well as of late. And if I'm going to spend that kind of money, I think I'd go up here to the Andrews, the Pitts, the Gronks, the Kettles, or maybe even Kelsey if you're doing some kind of stack there. Defense for me, I like the Chargers. No one's going to play them at $4,300. There's a lot of lower price plays you can get to this week that you can fit this in. And Giants on the road, they're basically dead in the division. They're starting, I think, Fromm. Feel bad for Barkley. Talked about that with Ryan yesterday. East Coast to West Coast game. I know it's a lot of money, but it could be they could have a big day tomorrow. And I like the Broncos at home against Detroit. I think it's a big letdown spot for Detroit to get that big first win of the year. Now they got to go 2 mile high in the altitude. $3,800 is a little bit of a price decrease there. They're going to be lower owned. I like that. 2 cheapies I kind of like right now, Jets and Texans. I'll dig a little bit more into that as we get towards Sunday on the premium stuff for my favorite values there. But those are the 2 that stick out to me. Both home Ds that I like this week. Gut feel plays. I like Hillard. I'm kind of on an island there. I know Foreman will probably get first and maybe even most, but Hillard's explosive, look good. Maybe needs a big play to pay off, but I don't mind having him in a large field MME type setting. I like Chuba. I think if he's gonna have a game, this will be it, right? You're playing Atlanta, not a great D, no CMC. You got a guy there that they're wanting to give some touches to, and Abdullah. It's his time to show up, or he's not. He's going to be a back RB2, RB3 his whole career, so he's still young. I hope he can go off here. I haven't stored in several best ball teams that if he can make a good little run in the season, it certainly would help me. I like Kareem Hunt if he's back. I think he may go under the radar some. I think he's a key piece that was missing in that offense. I think Baker likes to check down to him a lot. I think that 1-2 punch is big. So he's a good guy. Gallup is a guy that I think with everybody healthy and back in Dallas, everybody kind of forgets about him, but Dak still likes him at $5,500. He's going to be probably sub 5%. I don't mind going there, especially in the stacks, but even, to take a chance there and fade the 2 popular guys. And then Elijah Moore played him last week. I'll still go back to him this week. Priced up a little bit, $5,900. I don't see him getting too much love. But again, that Saints secondary and defense is banged up. If anybody's gonna excel in the passing game, it's gonna be Moore. And you can tell Zach Wilson looks for him quite a bit. He had a great game last week and could have had even better. A couple missed passes by Zach, and he could have had at least another touchdown, another big ball. Favorite stacks of the week, Dallas and Cincinnati. My sneaky stack of the week right now is the 49ers. 2 favorite Super 7 plays over on Carbon Contest. A little shout out to them. They have the Golf One and Done and Carbon Cup are now up for registering. You can get logged in there. If you haven't done it or you do it every year, go ahead and get it knocked out. I did not check this morning to see. He is going to do the bowl pick'ems. Now, they don't start till next. Let's see if they're up there yet. I don't see them yet, but bowls don't start till next Friday, so I expect that coming. He'll probably have that up today or over the weekend. If you're looking for a bowl pick'em deal, he has committed to that. CarbonContest.com. My favorite Super 7s is Cowboys -4, Falcons +2.5. My upset of the week is the Bengals. They're a 1.5 point dog right now. Survivor of the week, if you are still in, God bless you. Good luck. You should be able to pencil through that. I don't know who you have left. Maybe you have the Chargers. They're 10-point favorite at home. This time of the year, I'd probably, Denver. I don't know where you'd use Denver before. They're playing Detroit at home. Those could be some good options there. Monkey Knife Fight, link is in the description. Dollar for dollar match up to $100 as well with the code GUPS, GUPS. Knockout Kings back tomorrow for the big UFC card. Pick 3 fighters to win by knockout or TKO So pick Nunez and 2 more. And win a share of the jackpot. It's pretty cool. It's right up there on the front page. You can go check that out. My college football play of the week is Robinson over 54.5 rushing yards and Ruas over 54.5 rushing yards. That's the Army-Navy game, only college football in the slate tomorrow. My NFL play of the week is Tyreek over 79.5 yards and CeeDee Lamb over 75.5 yards. That's on the early slates on NFL Sunday. Like I said, the hot route dropped yesterday. Cup with Gup was out yesterday. That was mainly focused on last night's showdown. And I'll be back Monday, recapping, going. We don't have no golf, but we certainly will keep things rolling as we are in upgrading mode right now and research development, doing all kinds of things behind the scene to get ready for next year. I'm excited for it. Appreciate all the support out there. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Come check us out. If you haven't yet, it's a great time to do it. Check out that video on the Twitter handle. It's in our YouTube channel as well. About 18 minutes. You can see everything. I've had a lot of people reach out that had left because I sent out a big email that have come back and they're like, hey, I'm really impressed with what you guys have done and improved. And we're going to continue to do that as well. Have a great weekend, y'all. And I'll talk to you Monday. Have a blessed weekend. Thanks.